like these women here in the Prince Philip Challenge Cup to Masters, and this is going to be another great contest. So there's the Marin crew. Pretty sensational start from them, and you look through the universities that these women are going to: Cornell, Stanford, Texas, Coll. They're all headed to these fantastic NCAA universities, Fergus.
They are. I mean, the Royal America Ride crew that we just saw, Marin as well, here in this combination, they breed incredible athletes. We can see it here already, half a length up on Shiplake, no slouches. 5th at the National Schools Regatta. But what these American programs do so well, they're incredibly well funded. They just produce winners, and as you said, Cal Barkley off to Texas, Stanford, Cornell. Those programs are dominating the NCAAs, the IRAs respectively. So what a transition that these women will be able to make from student to club in a few months' time. Yeah,
there's Shiplake College. It's the first time they've really had women's 8 in the Prince Philip Challenge Cup. Of course, they won the quads, coached by their current coach Dan Safdari. I think they won that back in 2021. I'm just wondering, I prefer that side with a bit of rain on. I'm just wondering, is there anything in the stations? We saw, you know, the leaders in the other race just take a good position in that first part of the row. I'm not sure there's anything in the station, but
no, I don't think so. I think not on a day like today. I find rain a real leveller when it comes to rowing. You know, it levels out the water a little bit. It's not quite as bouncy. And particularly the conditions that we've got today, when you and I were chatting away yesterday, there's a huge amount more wind than what we've got today. It's a lot calmer out there, and actually the water is just allowing everyone to race as equal as possible.
So I think that so Marin did 2:14 to the barrier when they beat Surbiton High School. Shiplake did 2:12 when they rode through Henley. Henley led that. So Shiplake have rode through. I don't suppose their coaching team or those young women are going to be two-phased, but that's a little bit of a clear water lead as we come up to the halfway point in this race.
That's exactly what you're wanting in this kind of match racing. They're just getting out in front, dominating, and all of these young girls, I mean, Shiplake racing at the national schools, Marin racing across the US Youth Nationals. It's all side by side, big racing, sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 boats wide. But in terms of this match racing, I love what Marin have done. Blasted out of the blocks, really taking it to Shiplake, and despite the advantage that Shiplake had against Godolphin and Latimer, Henley Rowing Club, of course, in the most recent fixture, they're getting out, they're getting their bows out in front and just psychologically breaking Shiplake at the moment.
Yeah, you just saw Jackson Tupper, the 18-year-old Cox, who was in the Princess Elizabeth for Boys Junior 8s last year, and I just see the 6th woman going past. I love the bit on her bio, Maisie Ballantyne. She says with a big smile, "Hey, I drive over the Golden Gate Bridge every day to go to practice." She's off to Texas with Dave O'Neill. Hook 'em Dave, if you're watching this, one of your graduates, or not graduates, one of your young freshmen that's coming to Texas. There's a Shiplake crew. They look pretty into a decent rhythm, moving well. This gamble, do you think? I mean, it was a gamble that Dave Curry and Dan Safdari took to put their best women in the 8 rather than to go for a quad in the Diamond Jubilee.
I love that kind of ambition, though. I think it shows real purpose from the entire coaching staff. As Dan Safdari, hugely successful with the quads previously, and I think hugely important for British clubs and schools to be challenging in the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy. We've had 3 years of this, but we've had 2 international winners. They're the holders, of course, Greenwich crew, again for the United States of America. So I think it's important that we've got our British crews challenging these top American clubs.
Are we seeing something in the last couple of years where the top American young women's 8s, junior 8s, are significantly better than the top British young women's 8s? So, you know, 2 American schools contested the final of this event last year. We've seen Marin there just, you know, really easing away from Shiplake unless something dramatic happens. Do you think that's a sea change in this event?
I think if you look back at the American cruise, before we had the Prince Phillip and before the Princess Elizabeth opened up, there was always a huge amount of talk of, well, what can these American clubs do? What can the schools do? We saw some of the independent schools coming and racing in the PE. We got a little bit of a taste, but there was always the knowledge that these American clubs, Marin, Greenwich, Row America Rye, were always lurking in the background, waiting for an opportunity to come and race at Henley. We saw it with Row America in the previous race, and we're seeing it again just now. Marin pulling away from Shiplake, one of the top women's crews in Great Britain.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it? Looking down, Amelia King in the stroke seat, the 17-year-old. She got a bronze medal at the US Nationals. Charlotte Jett behind her, the 4th seat of the US Junior Women's 8 last year at the World Championships. Great Britain won that. And we've talked already down. So let's have a look at Shiplake. They are moving a little bit, and the rating's gone up. Yeah, let's just have a look at the Shiplake crew. That is Katie Proudlove in the stroke seat. It's her first year at Shiplake. They do so well to get young women into the school at Shiplake, give them scholarships, and Katie there, just nearly 18 in 2 or 3 months' time, is stroking that boat really well. But look at the pain on the faces of Emily Downing in the 6th seat. She's been rowing for 6 years. She was in the GB Junior team at the Munich International Regatta this year, likely to be in the GB Junior team at the Worlds, and she's in some sort of pain there.
She certainly is. I mean, this crew, as we've said, 5th at the National Schools Regatta, 2nd back in March. The schools Henley River, gosh, that seems a long time ago now, racing on the Tideway back in March, but they're really up against it. Marin, one of the real dominant forces in the United States of America. And again, we're seeing more of those American crews coming over, really having a real crack at Henley Royal. The same with the Australians and the Kiwis this year as well.
Yeah, and it's the clubs that are doing so impressively, isn't it? And I know there were probably worries from, you know, coaches of school crews here, not just in the Prince Phillip for girls, but also for boys in the Princess Elizabeth, about the strength of clubs, and we're seeing this play out now, I guess.
Yeah, but it's only going to have positive impacts for rowing in the United Kingdom. We saw what happened when the Diamond Jubilee came into force. I mean, just look how strong junior women's sculling here is in the UK, and I'm sure we're going to see the exact same thing a few years down the line with the introduction of the Prince Phillip.
So I can look out of our window in the commentary box and see that Marin just have a few more strokes to go. If you're watching this on the west coast of the USA, I hope you're enjoying seeing your crew from San Francisco do so brilliantly. They have a clear water lead over the young women of Shiplake College. The local school have not been able to use the water to their advantage. Marin have taken this race. They are going to come up to the finish line in a couple of strokes' time and progress onwards. And for them, they've made the Saturday of Henley, and Shiplake, well, just over a length behind Fergus.
We're going to have an all-American semi-final in the next round of the Prince Phillip. Winners of this race, Marin, they'll be taking on Row America, and that's going to be epic tomorrow on Saturday of Henley Royal.